Part 249. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2481. Chapter 2481. Xiao Mian, how could she? Do you know what he saw one night? He actually saw Xiao Mian handing Qin Han the room card, but it is certain that Qin Han did not go. These people all claimed that they had a friend on the set who had personally seen how Xiao Mian hooked up with Qin Han. Better Qin has never seen any big storms, so he was not fooled by her. Some people asked, since Qin Han was not successfully seduced by her, why did he speak for her again and again? Someone quickly replied to this netizen, of course it's because Xiao Mian's background is very powerful. Bai Yisheng is her brother, and Mo Yesi is her fiancé. Does Qin Han dare to offend her? Although Qin Han is very powerful in the entertainment industry and is a movie king, but compared with truly powerful people, it is nothing. What if Qin Han doesn't help and is retaliated against? When you say this, many people believe it. Yes, Qin Han must have been forced. He has never spoken for any female artist on Weibo. Why should you help Xiao Mian? Help me again and again. Moreover, Xiao Mian was surrounded by dirty stuff at the time and had a very bad reputation. Qin Hanming knew that many netizens, including his own fans, did not like Xiao Mian. Under normal circumstances, it would be impossible for him to speak for Xiao Mian. In addition to being forced by force, what else could it be for? Because of this new revelation, Xiao Mian was scolded even worse. Qin Han is a movie king. He has good looks, good acting skills and is recognized as a good character. He is not only responsible for the strength in the circle, but also for traffic. He is recognized as a brother in the circle and has countless fans. In the past, Qin Han's fans didn't really like Xiao Mian. But because Qin Han showed that he admired Xiao Mian as a junior and had a good relationship with her, fans fell in love with her and forced themselves to accept Xiao Mian. Now, new revelations came out. Xiao Mian not only hooked up with Qin Han and gave her a room card during the filming of the drama, but she even forced Qin Han to post on Weibo to put in a good word for her. How can this fan endure it? The brother they worshipped and followed like a was wronged by Xiao Mian, a shameless woman. Xiao Mian, how could she? If you offend Qin Han's fans, the consequences will be serious. Fans began to collectively protest and ask Xiao Mian to come out and apologize to Qin Han. For a time, the activity on Weibo was unprecedentedly high, and the traffic exploded to the point where the entire Weibo was paralyzed for at least 10 minutes. Weibo programmers never imagined that this day would be so lively. The hot searches on Weibo all day were actually occupied by a female artist. Such a phenomenon has almost never happened before. Asterisk. Mo Yesi sent Xiao Mian to the place where the commercial was shot. Linda and Nana were already waiting at the door. After Xiao Mian got out of the car, Linda and Nana immediately greeted her. Seeing Mo Yesi sitting in the car, Linda and Nana both said hello with some respect, Mr. Mo. Although Mo Yesi is not the boss of the two of them. Seeing Mo Yesi, both of them felt a sense of awe and were much more nervous than in front of the real boss. Mo Yesi has the majestic aura of someone who has been in power for a long time, and his aura is much stronger than that of the happy CEO. It should be said that the CEO of Huanya cannot be compared with Mo Yesi. Neither of them are in the same rank. Linda can talk and laugh easily with the happy CEO like friends. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2482. Chapter 2482. You must take care of me. But in front of Mo Yesi, she couldn't let go. The awe and nervousness in her heart were radiating from her bones. Just like people are born to fear God. Mo Yesi nodded, which was considered as saying hello to them. Take good care of her, he said in a low voice. I have entrusted her to you, and you must take good care of her for me. Mr. Mo, don't worry. Linda lowered her head slightly and said, we will definitely take good care of Mian. That's good. Mo. Yes, he didn't speak to them anymore, and stretched out a hand towards Chiao Mian, gesturing for Chiao Mian to come closer to him. Is there anything else? Before the car door was closed, Chiao Mian walked over, bent down, and got into the car. Mo. Yes, he put his arm around her waist, his big hot hands clasping her waist and exerting slight pressure. Chiao Mian had to lower her head and get closer to him. The moment he lowered his head, his chin was pinched and kissed. When you finish filming, I'll pick you up. If you need anything, call me. Remember, don't be brave alone. If it's something you can't solve, then let me help you solve it, okay? Thinking that Linda and Nana were still standing nearby, Chiao Mian's cheeks felt slightly hot, and she pursed her lips and said softly, oh. Mo. Yes, he pinched her blushing cheeks. Okay, I'm leaving then. Asterisk. After a while, wait for Mo. Yesi to leave. Chiao Mian turned around and met two pairs of narrow eyes. Nana's eyes were very bright and she looked a little excited. There seemed to be pink bubbles floating out of her eyes. Wow, Mian, you and Mr. Mo have a great relationship. Mr. Mo seems to be such a stoic person, in front of you it's really enthusiastic. Chiao Mian. Mr. Mo and Mian have always had a good relationship. Linda also nodded and said with a smile, you are now the most enviable couple in the entertainment industry. Yes, I am so envious when I look at it. Mr. Mo is so handsome, super rich, and has outstanding abilities. He also has a very good figure, especially that waist. At this point, Nana's voice dropped. He went down and smiled a little obscenely. Waist, Chiao Mian didn't react for a while, so she asked, what's wrong with the waist? Ahem. Nana blinked, the waist, is very good. Mr. Mo's waist, Mian, don't you feel particularly happy? Chiao Mian was stunned for a few more seconds. Meeting Nana's ambiguous gaze, she suddenly reacted. Chiao Mian. She said. Why? Nana suddenly became greasy, and the obscene expression on her face made her. This little girl has been thinking about something all day long. Okay, stop teasing Mian. Linda poked Nana on the forehead. These are private affairs between husband and wife. If you ask, can Mian tell you? If you are really envious, you should also find one. Wouldn't a boyfriend with a good waist be enough? Nana's mouth suddenly dropped. If I want to find someone like Mr. Mo, I think it's better to wait until the next life. There is no hope in this life anyway. However, a like Mr. Mo can be taken advantage of by the people around me. Come down, I feel more proud. Linda said with a smile, Mr. Mo, Mr. Mian, what does it have to do with you? What kind of face do you have? Then Mian has defeated President Mo, and I am Mian's assistant. Rounding it off means that I also know President Mo. Of course it is a very honorable thing to know a big shot like President Mo. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2483. Chapter 2483. I won't let her get what she wants. Asterisk. Mian, have you read the latest hot searches? Several people entered the elevator. Linda thought of the latest revelations she had seen before, and frowned, with a hint of anger in her eyes. Although Chiao Mian said, this matter will not be dealt with for the time being. I also said that she can definitely handle this matter. But the artist under her now has become a black eye on the internet, and she is being smeared and spread rumors like that. How could she not be anxious at all? She is afraid that if public opinion continues to ferment like this, it will be difficult to deal with later. After all, even if they can find ways to clarify the rumors later, many people will still choose to believe those rumors. You may not necessarily believe someone who refutes rumors. In that case, it would actually be very detrimental to Xiao Mian. She is currently on the rise. The impact of these scandals will definitely be huge. In the past, many first-tier advertising brands came to us and wanted to cooperate with Xiao Mian. If they saw these shady materials, I don't know if they would choose to continue to cooperate. There are also some invitations to TV series and movies. They are all very good resources. Xiao Mian can choose a movie at random. As long as it is well shot, it will have good ratings and box office. Thinking of these things, Linda frowned even more. She was really worried. She looked at Xiao Mian with her eyebrows furrowed. Mian, there are several new whistleblowers who have fabricated a lot of dirty information about you. The current situation is really not good for you. Those people also dragged the crown prince into this. Chen glanced at Xiao Mian's face and saw that she didn't have much reaction, then she pursed her lips and continued, they said you have an affair with the crown prince, and in order to isolate Shenro, you alienated Mr. Mo's friends from Shenro. Not only that, but Qin Han and Zhan Bo were also involved. Mian, do you really not care about this matter now? Are you just going to let them smear you more and more? I don't know what you are waiting for. What, how long do you have to wait? But this matter has been delayed for a long time, even if Mr. Mo handles it for you, I'm afraid. The black material has been spread. Many people are convinced. If you wait too long to clarify and refute rumors, it will not be of much use. Sister Xie, are you afraid that if you don't deal with it in time, even if you refute the rumor later, no one will believe me? Xiao Mian turned her head and interrupted Linda with a smile. Linda was silent for a moment and nodded, yes. I have actually thought of all your considerations. Xiao Mian was silent for a while, and then said, I just don't want things like this to happen again in the future. I hope I can not only solve this matter, but also all future troubles can be solved. I have read everything you said. Don't worry, it won't take too long. I will solve this matter today. I know very well what the other party has planned. I'm not a fool, and I won't let her get her wish. That's good. Hearing what she said, Linda felt a little relieved. What I mean is that today's matters are best solved today, and don't postpone them to the next day. Some things will not be easy to solve if they are left overnight. Since you have your own considerations, I won't be verbose. You can figure it out. Xiao Mian nodded, thought for a while, and took out her mobile phone. She logged into Weibo. Linda glanced at the screen of her mobile phone, her face changed slightly, and she immediately asked, Mian, what do you want to do? Post on Weibo. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2484. Chapter 2484 was doomed from the beginning. Xiao Mian clicked on the editing page. She had not planned to post on Weibo at this time. She planned to collect all the evidence before posting on Weibo to refute the rumors. But seeing Linda so worried, she wanted to send a Weibo post to reassure her. Are you posting on Weibo now? What are you going to post, didn't you say? I haven't collected any evidence yet. I don't want to clarify or refute the rumors. I just want to inform netizens first. As Xiao Mian spoke, a Weibo post had been edited and she pressed send with her finger. Xiao Mian there are so many things happening today that make everyone worried. All negative news is false. I will provide you with concrete evidence later. As for those who spread rumors, I will file legal proceedings and no one will escape. After posting on Weibo, Xiao Mian directly quit Weibo without looking at netizens' reactions. Linda is a very thoughtful person. She quickly figured out that Jiao Mian should do this to reassure her. She couldn't help but feel warm in her heart. According to Jiao Mian's current status, she, as an agent, actually has nothing to say in front of her. She is Jiao Mian's manager, but she cannot manage Jiao Mian like she manages other artists. As the wife of Mo's CEO, she is the boss of Huan Yu, and she also needs to please Jiao Mian. So, Jiao Mian actually didn't need to care about her mood at all. But she still took it into consideration. Even though she is the daughter of the Bai family, the wife of the CEO of the Mo family still shows corresponding respect to her as an agent. Also gave her enough face. Think about Jiao Angzhen in the past. She is just Suzi's girlfriend, and he calls her around all the time. Didn't take her as an agent seriously at all. Compared with Jiao Angzhen, Jiao Mian is much better. No wonder Jiao Angzhen had to go to great lengths to pry around the corner to pry Suzi. And Jiao Mian can easily win over a high-quality man like Mo Yesi. The two sisters are not on the same level at all. Even if Jiao Mian does not have the status of the daughter of the Bai family, Jiao Angzhen is far inferior to her. It can be seen that everyone's fate is doomed from the beginning. It was precisely because Jiao Angzhen took advantage of her that Jiao Mian had the opportunity to get to know Mo Yesi. Otherwise, she might have married Suzi by now. As for Suzi, how can he compare with Mo Yesi? 100 Suzi can't compare to 1 Mo Yesi. What's more, Jiao Mian is actually a wealthy daughter who has been living abroad. In terms of family background, the Su family is far from matching the Bai family. Fortunately, God is still very wise and allows everything that should be put in its place and people who should be together to be together. Those who deserved punishment were punished. Asterisk. Shen Ro was sitting in the office, with the Weibo page displayed on the computer she had turned on. She carefully browsed through the Weibo posts that insulted Jiao Mian. When she felt particularly happy, she even liked them with her own account. Jiao Mian, this green tea bitch, fake daughter, who is she? Maybe even the identity of the daughter is fake. She is not qualified to compare with Shen Ro. Shen Ro is the real daughter of a famous family, she is just a clown. That's it. People who steal other people's things through scheming will have their retribution sooner or later. I believe she won't be able to survive for long. Let's wait and see her retribution. This kind of person will not end well. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2485. Chapter 2485. The worse the bitch's fate is, the happier I feel. Shen Ro liked this Weibo post. Her Weibo trumpet, may the years be quiet and peaceful. Just giving it a like was not enough for her, so she also commented on it. The years are quiet and good. One thing to say is that Jiao Mian is indeed no better than Shen Ro. She just relied on some underhanded tactics to succeed step by step. But the noble eldest daughter of the Shen family didn't even bother to use those methods, so Shen Ro didn't lose to her, she lost to herself. The netizen who posted on Weibo quickly replied to her, "You are right, she must have used some dirty tricks to seduce men. Ordinary people, as long as they have normal outlook on life, would be as shameless as her. She is just a vixen who stalks men whenever she sees them. I have never seen such a disgusting woman." The netizen who posted on Weibo is a fan of Zanbo's wife. After seeing those revelations and knowing that Jiao Mian had hooked up with her idol, she naturally regarded Jiao Mian as the enemy who killed her father. My wife's fan was very excited and scolded Jiao Mian. Shen Ro felt extremely relieved when she saw the disgusting words of her wife's fans. Today is the most comfortable and happiest day for her in recent months. Seeing Jiao Mian being scolded by everyone on the internet, like a rat crossing the street and being yelled at by everyone, She felt extremely happy, comfortable, and happy. Her brightly painted lips couldn't help but lift. This bitch, Chiao Mian Mian, is also here today. You really deserve it. Everything that encounters today is her own fault. Who asked this to rob her? No self-knowledge at all. Does this really think that she can't do anything to her? She doesn't want to be in the entertainment industry? Then make it impossible for her to survive. Not only that, she also wanted to make Chiao Mian Mian, a bitch, despised by thousands of people. Let her feel what it's like to be a street rat. The cell phone placed on the table suddenly rang. Shenro lowered her head and glanced down. After a few seconds, she picked up the phone. Miss Shen, we have completed the matter according to your instructions. I wonder if Miss Shen has seen it and is satisfied. A man's voice came from the mobile phone. Shenro closed the browsing page on her computer and raised her red lips slightly. Well, you did a good job this time. I'm very satisfied. The promised remuneration. I will pay you the remaining remuneration immediately. Of course, if you can do better, the remuneration can be increased. A man's flattering laughter sounded on the phone. That's natural. Miss Shen can rest assured that we won't let you down when we do things. That's good. Shenro narrowed her slightly upward eyes, and raised the slender ends of her eyes slightly. As long as I can make Chiao Mian Mian a street rat that everyone hates and make her spurned by everyone, your benefits are absolutely indispensable. The worse the bitch's fate is, the happier I feel. If Chiao Mian Mian could die immediately, this would definitely be the happiest thing in her life. If there is no suitable opportunity. She made Chiao Mian Mian disappear from this world a long time ago. But just because there is no chance now, does not mean there will be no chance in the future. One day, she will make the completely disappear from her world and never be seen again. Asterisk. Yan Xiaoqing looked at the girl sitting next to Gong Zili for the third time. His gorgeous peach face had a hint of curiosity. He held the wine glass and shook it again and again. Looking at the girl's delicate and familiar face, he couldn't help but frown as he thought of certain possibilities. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2486. Chapter 2486. What's the point of finding a substitute? A few days ago, he heard about this from others. Because I was really curious, I made an appointment with Gong Zili. Unexpectedly, Gong Zili directly brought his new love out. After seeing him, Yan Xiaoqing couldn't help but think about that. This little girl named Susu does have some similarities to Chiao Mian Mian. Especially those eyes, they are almost exactly the same. Yan Xiaoqing looked a little worried. What is Gong Zili doing? You couldn't find the real one, so you got a substitute who was similar to the main one? Yan Xiaoqing never expected that Gong Zili would do such a stupid thing as finding a substitute. It's okay if he knows about this matter, he won't say anything. But if Mo Yesi knew about it? Yan Xiaoqing didn't dare to think about what kind of war would happen between the two. What are you looking at? When he looked towards Susu again, Gong Zili turned his head and looked at him expressionlessly. Susu is timid and easily shy. You keep staring like this. Look at her to see what she's doing. The girl sitting next to her heard Gong Zili's protective words, and a blush suddenly appeared on her fair face. She blushed, stretched out her hand to touch her face, and asked in a thin voice, Master Yan, is there something dirty on my face? No. Yan Xiaoqing took a deep breath and looked away. I just think this little sister Susu looks a bit familiar. Maybe it's because the real owner, Chiao Mian Mian, is his sister-in-law. So when Yan Xiaoqing saw this little substitute girl, he felt a little uncomfortable. Speaking of which, this little girl named Susu looks a bit like his sister-in-law. but in real comparison, it's far behind. Not to mention the crushing appearance. Even in terms of temperament, it is far from the same. Yan Xiaoqing still remembered the feeling he had when he first met Jiao Mian. It's really shocking. As for this Susu Mo, even though she looks a little like Jiao Mian, that is to say, she has a delicate appearance, but she is still far from stunning. Yan Xiaoqing didn't understand what Gong Zili was thinking. What's the point of finding a substitute? A substitute is a substitute after all. Can he be the same as the original owner? Looks alike, but has different personalities, even less similar thoughts, and the souls in their bodies are different. This kind of behavior is not an act of self-deception. Yes, really, Susu was stunned for a moment, her face changed slightly, and after a while she said again in a low voice, Master Yan thinks I look familiar. Is it because I look like someone you know? Is it your friend? We are all of the same generation. Just speak normally. Don't use any honorifics with me. It's yours. I'm not used to this. Yan Xiaoqing's slender peach blossom eyes narrowed, with a hint of inquiry in them. He glanced at Susu and couldn't help but curl his lips and said, You are now the fourth child, so you don't have to shrink in front of us brothers. Otherwise, if someone who doesn't know the inside story sees it, they will think someone bullied you. Don't you think so? Yan Xiaoqing said these words with a smile. But after hearing these words, Susu's face suddenly froze. She is sensitive by nature. Naturally, she felt Yan Xiaoqing's dissatisfaction with her. Although this dissatisfaction was not expressed directly. Susu bit her lip, blinked, and her eyes suddenly became moist. Come on, stop it quickly, don't do this. Yan Xiaoqing frowned when he saw her eyes were red, and the dissatisfaction in his heart became heavier. I said, Miss Susu, I didn't bully you, right? Why are you crying? End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2487. Chapter 2487. If you are so timid, why bring him out? Really? Where did Lao Si find this substitute? He looked like he was about to cry before he said anything. If people who don't know the truth saw it, they might actually think that he, Yan Xiaoqing, is so ungraceful that he even bullies women. Susu's eyes were originally red. When Yan Xiaoqing said this, he saw tears flashing in her eyes, and she actually cried in the blink of an eye. Yan Xiaoqing was stunned. No, I really cried. He didn't say anything. No, I said, little girl, why are you still crying? I didn't bully you, and I didn't say anything harsh to you. Why are you crying? Why are you crying? Yan Xiaoqing thought. Very speechless. He has always been very considerate. Girls to him are all fragrant and soft, fragile creatures worthy of pity and love. He has never made any girl cry. Now, the little stand-in that Gong Zili had hired actually started crying because of his few words. He looked so aggrieved and hurt, as if he had really bullied her. He said Xiaoqing was not such a graceless man. Whoever he bullies, he will not bully a woman. Not to mention she is such a childish-looking little girl. Because she likes her sister-in-law, she felt a little uncomfortable seeing such a substitute. But I never thought about really embarrassing this little girl. I. Susu glanced at Yan Xiaoqing with a little fear in her eyes. She bit her lips and was speechless. Just after she said two words, tears fell out again. Yan Xiaoqing. What happened to him? He really didn't say anything just now. But now when the little girl cries, Yan Xiaoqing feels as if he has become a villain. He met Gong Zili's gaze with an aggrieved look on his face, bit his back teeth, and said a little angrily, Fourth, don't look at me, I didn't bully her. Where did you find her? Such a little girl is so timid, she started crying before I even said anything. If she is so timid, why bring her out? Wouldn't it be good to let her stay at home? Yan Shaoqing's words are a bit serious. He also said this with a feeling of anger in his heart. Mr. Gong, did I do something wrong? Susu's eyes turned redder, like rabbit eyes. She raised her tear-filled eyes, with tears rolling in them, looking pitiful. Biting her lip and choking softly, if Master Yan doesn't like Susu, Susu can, just go back now. Yan Shaoqing hates seeing women's tears the most. Especially the tears of beautiful women. When a woman cries in front of him, he can't help but feel pity for her. But now, this was the first time he saw a woman crying. Not only did he not feel any pity, but he actually felt very angry. In the past, he and Gong Zili often played together, and each had their female companions with them. The female companions they took with them were all very knowledgeable people. This is the first time Yan Shaoqing has seen such an ignorant woman. This woman was actually brought out by Gong Zili. How can Gong Zili tolerate such a pretentious woman? Based on his understanding of Gong Zili, this kind of woman who cries at every turn is definitely not the type that Gong Zili likes. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2488. Chapter 2488. Come out with me. Gong Zili, like him, doesn't like women with this kind of personality. Is it because this woman looks like Xiao Mian? So, Gong Zili made an exception for her? If this is really the case, then he is really obsessed. You don't have to worry about him, that's just the way he is. It's not that he has any dissatisfaction with you. Gong Zili and Yan Shaoqing looked at each other for a few seconds, then looked away and looked down at the girl sitting next to him, his face he said with an indifferent expression. But Yan Shao. Susu sobbed. If you feel uncomfortable staying here, I'll tell the driver and let him take you back first. Gong Zili interrupted her quietly. Susu was stunned for a moment, her tears seemed to be frightened away by these words, and she stopped crying all of a sudden. Yan Shaoqing witnessed everything, twitched the corners of his lips and sneered slightly. Fourth brother, come out with me. I have something to say to you. Yan Shaoqing threw the wine glass on the table, stood up, and walked out of the box after leaving these words. Gong Zili watched him walk out of the box, his narrow eyes narrowed, and after a few seconds, he stood up and followed him out. Mr. Gong. Seeing Gong Zili walk to the door, Susu called him with red eyes and some uneasiness. I'll be back in a moment. If you're hungry, eat first. Gong Zili walked out of the box without stopping. Suddenly, Susu and the two waiters were the only ones left in the box. Susu reached out to wipe the tears from the corner of her eyes, her face was a little pale, she bit her lip, and there was a flash of fear and uneasiness in her eyes. She could feel that Yan Shaoqing didn't like her. She also guessed why Yan Shaoqing didn't like her. Although she is young, she doesn't understand everything. There were so many women in the dark night who were more beautiful than her and better at pleasing people than she was, but none of them were attracted by Gong Zili. Why is she regarded differently? Others thought she was lucky and had great luck, which caught Gong Zili's eyes. But she knew that was not the case. She is still very self-aware. Her appearance is not outstanding, and her character is even more ordinary. She doesn't even know what to do if she wants to please a man. At the beginning, she didn't understand why Gong Zili chose the ordinary girl among so many people. He took her out of the dark night, found a good place for her to live, and gave her one of his additional cards, telling her that she could use the money in it as she pleased. He will give her expensive jewelry, clothes, bags, and shoes. Every time he went there to see her, he would bring her gifts. Those gifts were very expensive, something she had never dared to think of before. He will ask her if she likes it. When she says she likes her, he seems to be in a good mood. He has no requirements for her. He doesn't need her to please him, nor does he need her to have any talents or skills to please him. The only requirement is that she smile more in front of him and talk to him more. Most of the time, he would say nothing, and she would speak alone. He seemed to enjoy listening to her. I also like to see her smile. He also likes to let her call his name when they are alone. She didn't dare at first. But under his compulsion, she finally screamed. She could clearly feel that when she called his name, the emotions in his eyes that stared at her would flow quickly. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2489. Chapter 2489. Is it interesting for you to do this? She didn't understand at first. She didn't understand why this man refused to touch her even though he spent money to support her. Not only did he not touch her, he didn't even do anything intimate. He took her away and raised her, but he didn't want to get her as a person. Then what does he want? She has always been confused and cannot guess the real reason. Until today. She finally knew. After she saw the revelation, she finally understood. It turned out that her good luck came from another person. It comes from the female artist named Xiao Mian. Yan Xiaoqing doesn't like her because of this female artist. Those revelations may not be 100% true, but they are not all fabricated rumors. At least, as said in the revelations, Gong Zili does have that in mind for Xiao Mian. Furthermore, these people really protect Xiao Mian. From these 2 points alone, Xiao Mian is really a very attractive woman. The best men in Cloud City all have a soft spot for her. After knowing that she might have become someone else's substitute, Susu felt extremely sad and lost. But she did not dare to go to Gong Zili to confirm this matter. Because she was afraid that once the window paper was broken, she would not even have the chance to stay with him. She pretended not to know anything, at least she could stay with him. Even if it was impossible for him to fall in love with her and just use her as a substitute, she didn't want to leave him. Even though she knew that once she fell in love with this man, her disaster would begin, she still couldn't help but fall into it. What else can we do? The first time she saw him, she had already fallen in love with him. Asterisk. Yan Xiaoqing stood in the corridor, smoking a cigarette. His charming peach blossom eyes were half squinted, and he smoked less than a third of the cigarette between his fingers when he saw Gong Zili coming over. He turned his head and blew out a puff of white smoke from his mouth. Want to smoke? He asked Gong Zili. Gong Zili shook his head, no need. Yan Xiaoqing didn't ask him any more questions. Tell me, what's the matter? Miyazawa asked directly as he left the door, straight to the point. Yan Xiaoqing didn't mince words, nodded, and then stood up straight, leaning lazily against the wall. Then I'll tell the truth. Zili, what happened to the little girl you were looking for? Gong Zili looked at him with no expression on his face. What's going on? Don't pretend to be like me. Yan Xiaoqing took another puff of cigarette and slowly exhaled the white mist in his mouth. That little girl is so similar to my sister-in-law. I heard that she used to sell alcohol in the dark night. You brought her out because she looks like your sister-in-law. Zili, do you know what your behavior is called? Do you understand that this is self-deception? Yan Xiaoqing frowned and said, it's nothing to find a substitute. A substitute is always just a substitute, even if he looks similar. No matter what, they are not the same person. Is it interesting for you to do this? Gong Zili listened to him expressionlessly, and said calmly, is this all you want to tell me? Yes, that's all. Yan Xiaoqing got a little angry when he saw his indifferent look. I really don't know why you suddenly have a soft spot for my sister-in-law. You were always targeting me before. She doesn't like her very much. Haven't you always hated her? End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2490. Chapter 2490. Maybe, someone has already seen it. I didn't hate her. Gongzili's voice was still calm, and his eyes were also calm. You don't hate her? Then why were you so malicious towards her before? Well, if it's because of Shenro, then shouldn't the person you like be Shenro? What happened? You suddenly changed your mind. Is there something I don't know about yet? Yan Shaoqing is particularly curious about this matter. He and Gongzili have been friends for many years, and naturally he knows that Gongzili has always liked Shenro. Gongzili is not a person who changes his mind casually. His sudden alienation from Shenro and his affection for Qiao Mian are both incomprehensible. Gongzili raised his eyes and looked at Yan Shaoqing indifferently. Why are you worrying so much? It has nothing to do with you. Yan Shaoqing. He breathed in his mind, okay, I don't worry, just forget it if you don't want to say it. You can like whoever you like, and I can't care. Actually, I can't care if you find a substitute, and it has nothing to do with me. But at this juncture, if you find such a substitute, don't you think about whether it will harm my sister-in-law. Miyazawa's handsome face, which had always been expressionless, finally showed a slight change in emotion. He was stunned for a moment, and his narrow phoenix eyes flashed. What do you mean? What does this matter have to do with her? You don't know yet. Yan Shaoqing frowned. What do you know? Gongzili had doubts in his eyes. My sister-in-law has been exposed a lot of dirty stuff today. Yan Shaoqing saw that he really didn't know and didn't want to show off, so she told him, today there was someone who claimed to know us and has a close relationship with us. Someone close to me came out and said a lot of things that discredited my sister-in-law. There is a piece of black material in it, about you and my sister-in-law. He said that my sister-in-law hooked up with you in order to sow a wedge between us and Shenro. You were deceived by her and became her subordinate. It's the little sister-in-law. My sister-in-law asked you to distance yourself from Shenro, and it was also my sister-in-law who asked you not to help Shen. As soon as Yan Shaoqing finished speaking, he saw Gongzili's face darken. His eyes were cold, as if they were frozen, and those narrow phoenix eyes hardened by ice looked at him with a sharp gaze. When did this happen? Why did you tell me now? Yan Shaoqing. Why did he tell him just now? He didn't ask either. Moreover, is there any need for him to talk about this matter? He is a person who doesn't like to pay attention to gossip, and his cell phone has been bombarded with relevant news today. Even if he doesn't want to know, he knows it. And this matter is still such a big deal. He always thought that Gongzili knew. Unexpectedly, he didn't know about it at all. It's what happened today. Related news is everywhere when you search it. You just don't pay attention to it. Zili, many people have believed the black material about you and your sister-in-law. Now your sister-in-law is being called a bitch. If at this time, someone with intentions is allowed to see the little girl you brought with you, what do you think others will think? Even if there is nothing between you, will others believe it? You have a substitute with you. Will others believe that there is nothing wrong between you? Perhaps, someone has already seen it. I don't know what happened to the second brother, but he actually allowed those black materials to be posted on Weibo hot searches. Didn't he see it too? End of this chapter.